He told me I was nothing without him. He threw me out with just a suitcase. I had nowhere to go and only one thing left to my name, an old, expired card my dad gave me. What happened when I used it? Changed everything. My name is Elena. For 10 years, I built a life with my husband, Daniel. I supported him through law school, managed our home, and played the part of the perfect corporate wife. Slowly, without even realizing it, I lost myself. He controlled the money, the friends, even what I wore. He called it taking care of me. I eventually learned it was a cage. The end came on a Tuesday. He came home from work and I'd made his favorite meal, lasagna, just like his mother's. But I'd used the wrong brand of tomatoes. It seems ridiculous now, but that was the spark. He told me I was useless, that I couldn't even get one simple thing right. He said I was a burden and that he was tired of carrying me. The fight escalated. Words I can't unhear were thrown at me like knives. And then he said the words that shattered my world. Get out. I want you out of my house tonight. I was in shock. Daniel, please. This is my home too. It's my house, he sneered, his voice cold as ice. In my name. And you have nothing. Now get out before I throw you out. Terrified, I packed a single suitcase with whatever I could grab. My hands were shaking so badly I could barely zip it shut. He stood by the door, arms crossed, watching me. As I passed him, he slipped a $50 bill into my coat pocket. For a motel, he said, as if he was being generous. It was the final, humiliating stamp of ownership. I drove away in my old Honda Civic, the one he always complained about, with no idea where to go. I couldn't afford a hotel for more than a night or two. I had maybe $200 in my personal account. He was right. I had nothing. I checked into a cheap motel on the outskirts of the city. The room smelled like stale cigarettes and despair. I sat on the stiff bed, surrounded by the faded floral wallpaper, and I cried until I had no tears left. I felt so completely, utterly alone. In the bottom of my suitcase, tucked inside a forgotten paperback, was the only thing I had left from my father. It wasn't a photo or a piece of jewelry. It was a dark blue, almost black, credit card. It had my maiden name on it, Elena Vance. My dad, a kind, quiet man who passed away 5 years ago, had given it to me when I first went to college. For absolute emergencies, sweetheart, he'd said. So you're never, ever stuck. I'd never used it. I'd completely forgotten about it. I honestly thought it had expired a decade ago. But as I held it in my hand, it felt like a message from him. A lifeline. The next morning, desperate, I went to a grocery store. My plan was simple: buy some basic food, bread, peanut butter, bottled water. I was terrified the card would be declined, adding public humiliation to my private devastation. I slid the card into the chip reader at the checkout. I held my breath. The screen flashed. Then it flashed again. A loud, sharp beep sounded. My heart sank. I'm sorry, I stammered, my face turning red. I have another, but the cashier was staring at her screen, confused. Ma'am, it says to call the bank. Of course, I thought. It's flagged as fraudulent. An expired card from a dead man. I stepped aside, my hands trembling as she picked up the phone. I heard her say, yes, I have a Elena Vance here. Yes, okay. I understand. She hung up and looked at me, her expression completely changed. It was no longer confusion or pity, but something resembling awe. Ma'am, she said. Her voice hushed. Your groceries are paid for and the bank manager himself is on his way here to speak with you. He asked that you please wait. Panic surged through me. What had I done? Was I in some kind of legal trouble? 15 minutes later, a man in an impeccably tailored suit rushed into the store, followed by an assistant. He introduced himself as Mr. Albright, a senior manager from Premier Trust Bank, Ms. Vance. He said, extending his hand, his demeanor deeply respectful. We are so relieved you're okay. When our system registered your transaction, it triggered a protocol we've had in place for years. I was utterly confused. A protocol? For a grocery store? Not for the store, Ms. Vance, for you. He gestured to a quiet corner. Your father, Robert Vance, was one of our most valued clients. When he passed, his assets were transferred into a trust. A very substantial trust. He left very specific, legally binding instructions. Mr. Albright opened a leather-bound folder his assistant handed him. The card you used is a private, black-level card linked directly to the Vance family trust. Its sole purpose is to alert us the moment you initiate any transaction, so we can make immediate contact. Your father's instructions were clear. The moment you used this card, we were to provide you with full, unrestricted access to your inheritance. I felt the room spin. Inheritance, but my husband handled all of that. The lawyer said there was just a small life insurance policy. Mr. Albright's face tightened slightly. The probate lawyer your husband hired was, I'm sorry to say, not entirely truthful. He was instructed to inform you of the trust's existence. It seems he and your husband had a separate arrangement. The truth hit me like a physical blow. Daniel hadn't just taken my present and my future. He had stolen my past. He had hidden a fortune that was rightfully mine, leaving me believing I was penniless, making me completely dependent on him. The amount in the trust was beyond comprehension, millions. My father, a humble-seeming engineer, had been a brilliant and quiet investor. Albright wasn't finished. The first thing we need to do, Ms. Vance, is ensure your security and comfort. We've already taken the liberty of reserving the penthouse suite at the Grandview Hotel for you, for as long as you need. My assistant will escort you there now. Tomorrow, we will meet with our legal team. We will begin the process of reclaiming what is yours from your husband, and we will press charges against him and the corrupt lawyer for fraud and concealment of assets. I stood in that grocery store, surrounded by fluorescent lights and the beeps of shopping carts, and my entire life rearranged itself. The helpless, discarded wife was gone. In her place stood Elena Vance, heiress. The following months were a whirlwind of legal battles. Daniel was served with papers at his law firm in front of his partners. The look on his face when he realized his useless wife had not only discovered his deception, but now held all the financial and legal power. It was a moment of pure, silent justice. I didn't take everything from him, but I took what was fair. I got my share of the marital assets that were rightfully mine, on top of my inheritance. I donated a large sum to a charity that helps women escaping financial abuse. I'm telling you this story because I was you. I was the woman who believed she was nothing. I believed the lies I was told. If you are in a situation where someone has made you feel small, where they control you by making you think you have no options, please know this: you are stronger than you know. Your worth is not determined by anyone else. And sometimes the greatest power you have is hidden, waiting for you to be brave enough to use it. For me, it was an old card. For you, it might be a phone call, a friend, a hidden talent, or a courage you forgot you had. Find it. Use it. Your life is waiting for you on the other side.